Hello, welcome to the pressure cooker review. Now this is a Bistro. It's a Wolfgang Puck edition. Now this is a pressure cooker, and it also is a slow cooker. Now the idea behind pressure cookers is that you lock the vessel and it's sealed inside. As the temperature rises, and you have to have liquid in here now. So whenever the liquid starts to steaming and it makes pressure and actually pressurizes the cooking. Under a higher pressure, water, everything goes to a higher boiling point. So and hence it can speed your cooking time up to 70% of conventional cooking. Now on these pressure cookers, they're not like the ones you used to see your mother, your grandmother, or whoever that set on the stove, that they would have to get them up to temperature and see when they start steaming and get the vent set just right so that they didn't over pressurize them and explode them or dry out whatever they're cooking. Now some of those would look like spaceships or whatever sitting on the stove. Now this is more like a conventional kind of sitting on your counter. People would think it was maybe a slow cooker, but now we have options here. You can use the vent or seal. Now seal is where you want to cook and you do your pressure cooking. If you put this on seal and then you start cooking, once this pot gets up to temperature inside and gets the right amount of pressure on it, then your automatic timer starts timing it for you at whatever temp or whatever time you set it to cook for. So there's no need to stand there or be around the pot or nothing, so you know when to start your timer or nothing. Now when you get done cooking, you got two options. Just to let it set, and when it gets done beeping and telling you it's done, what'll happen is it'll go to a stay warm mode, and while it's in that stay warm mode, it will start depressurizing itself. Now that's called natural release. A lot of meats and a lot of stuff that you cook will call for natural release. Now if you wanted to speed that process up, or say you just cooked a roast and you got your 45 or 50 minutes of cooking the roast in, and you want to put your potatoes or vegetables in, then you can turn it to vent and you can vent it rapidly, and then you'll be able to open the lid. Now the other thing about these are all these electric pressure cookers, when you go in here, it's going to lock. Okay? Now when you get this thing up to temperature, you cannot get the lid unlocked or get it off until you've either released the pressure and it's all down, or it naturally releases itself, and then you can take the lid off. So that stops a lot of the scolding or anything of the rumors you've heard of other pressure cookers. Now in this pressure cooker, they give you a lot of hardware with this one. They give you a rice measuring cup, they give you a little spoon ladle, they give you a lid here. Not all these electric ones will come with this. A lot do, a lot don't. Now with this lid, which the knob should be on the other side of the lid, but they do this for packaging, and I've just never put the knob over there yet. But you can put the lid on here, and hence now you can use this as a slow cooking function. If you wanted to do soups or something like that and wanted to slow cook it, you still have the option of using this as a slow cooker, or it's a pressure cooker, whichever you prefer to use it as. Now it's like I say, not all of them give you the glass lid. Another thing they do here is they give you this plastic lid. This is so when you cook your meal in your pot, if you wanted to put the plastic lid on it, stick this in the refrigerator, well then you'd just be able to do that. You can either reheat whatever it is and take it out of the refrigerator, or you can simply put it in the pot, take the lid off, either put the glass lid or the pressure lid, whichever you want to do, and you can get your meal back to temperature you can eat it at. Now this is a 7-quart pressure cooker. There's various sizes out. I like the bigger pressure cookers, the 6 and 7-quart ones, the electric ones. They give you a non-stick It's a coated aluminum bowl to cook in, which the non-stick in this pot, which I have another pot that's about a year old, does get scratched up, marred up, and it does look like the pot's gonna not hold up, but so far my other pot is holding up very well. This pot in particular is new, so it doesn't have none of that use on it. They give you a measuring guide here so you can know how much liquids. Now all these pressure cookers have a little button down here, and in that button is a safety mechanism, so that if it's sitting here like this plugged in, it won't turn on. It'll go and then it'll error code and shut itself off because there's nothing in here. It won't sit and cook itself. In other words, it'll just, if there's nothing in here cooking, it won't work. So now you can put your lid there, or your pot in here, and you put your lid on. Now these lids only go on one way. They go on and they turn. That clamps the lid down. Now when you get this vessel under pressure again, the lid won't come off, okay? You cannot take the lid off until there's no pressure in here. Keep in mind, important part of these pots is the sealing ring. These will turn older and darker, and they seem to last. I got a cooker that's about 4 years old, and the gasket's still good at turn collars. Now you can buy replacement gaskets if you want cheaply online, about $10 a piece or so. Now this cooker, they also give you a steamer basket. Now this steamer basket's good because you can put some liquid in the bottom of the pot. You can put this pan down in there, and then you can put your vegetables or anything that you want to steam in here, and you can steam your food in this cooker very easily, which makes that nice. Now when we get to the functions of the cooker here, you can hit the button, and then you got your choices. You can choose from rice, meat, vegetables, soup, or stew. Now you also have a delay time. You can hit the delay time, and what the delay time feature does is whenever you're going to work or school or store, wherever you're going, if you want to have your dinner ready when you get home, you can put all your ingredients in here. Put this on whatever time you want it to cook for, set your delay time for when you want it to start, and then you can go ahead and proceed to leave. Whenever it's the right time, the pot will automatically turn on, do all the cooking for you, and it'll turn itself off. When it turns itself off, after a while, it'll naturally release out of the vent, and it'll stay in a keep warm mode. That way your meal will still be warm when you get to home. Now this pot is a 1,000-watt heating element. It's fairly easy to use once you figure out the times and how much liquids and different things to put in. And like most pressure cookers, they come with a book that has some ingredients and cooking methods and times. Kind of helps you through the cooking on your first few times. Once you get it down to where you understand like how much water to put in and your cooking times and different things like that, I think you'll love one of these cookers. Now it is different than stovetop cooking, so keep in mind that this will take a little bit of a learning curve to use if you're not familiar with any kind of a pressure cooker whatsoever. Now any kind of pressure cooker recipe you can find will work in this because it's just a pressure cooker, okay? Just like any other pressure cooker. The only difference is this does not have to sit on a stove. It's all automatically done for you. Now these are a pound or two off of what the cooking pressures are on a stovetop model. I think stovetop models you can go up to 15 psi. I think this Wolfgang puck, if I remember what I read, goes up to 14 psi, which is a pound or two more than a lot of the other electric pressure cookers. I'm hoping I'm right on that. I'm pretty sure I am. Okay, now another feature they give you is this little cup here. Theoretically, if anything does come out of this or boil over, or your gasket would leak a little bit, they give you this little moat around here, and it's just a little, like a ditch dug around, but anything comes out, the liquid goes down to this little moat or ditch, goes down and then goes into your steam catcher here. So that way, if you do have any kind of leakage at all in the gasket, or anything gets spilled into here, it has somewhere to go and not on your countertop. Now, one thing that really irritates me about this pot and some of the other pots is this is, you can see, this is a deep groove down in here. If you are not very careful when you're serving out of this and stuff, and if you drip anything off the edge and get down in here, that's a hard place to clean. Most of the pots, unfortunately, have something similar to this. There's some of the electric ones are made a little differently at the top, where this is not as deep and is a little easier to clean. But like I say, if you're careful and not dropping a lot in there, I don't really think that'll be a big issue for you. As far as cooking in the pot, I have another one that's a few years old. It does a great job. I have no complaints about the pot. Now, the timer on these are just a little different. They did it in a way to try to make it easier for you, so that whenever you, if you go to rice, it automatically does you a 6-minute time. If you go to meat, it automatically starts on 20 minutes. But you can also turn the time down, or you can turn the time up. Let me get back to the time. So you can actually add time if you want. So it's still the same functional thing. It's just that they give you convenient cooking times of some of the most popular things, so that way you can cook. Now, you can cook a roast in here in about an hour that tastes like you've cooked it all day in an oven. It'll just fall apart. A lot of times we'll put pork chops in it, and we'll put a little gravy around it or something like that with it in here, and it'll cook the pork chops down to where it's hard to pick them up out of the pot because they fall apart. Ribs are good in it too. Now, you can turn this on. What I do a lot of times, I'll turn it on to meat, and then what I'll do is I'll put my meat in here, and I can brown it in the pot first if I so desire to brown it. But these are ideal. Every kitchen should have one. They're ideal for making soups, any kind of roast, ribs. It's just endless what you can make in these. You can buy extra piece to fit in here that's like a double layer thing that you can make desserts in. It's just endless of what you can do in here. Anything you can do in a pressure cooker, a regular pressure cooker, you can do in this pot, except for some canning, because your jars are too tall to fit down in here, and those quart jars are. So other than that, it's a very good device. Now, the other great feature about this is, like I say, they give you the lid, and you can also use this as a slow cooker. So it's kind of like two devices in one. I really like the pressure cookers, and I really like the electric ones because it's so hassle-free. You just got to remember, you got to have some liquid in the bottom of the pot, because that's what makes steam, and that's what helps you make the pressure and keeps your food from drying out. So there you have my review of this pressure cooker.